You've noticed that your vision isn't quite what it used to be. The words on the page are blurring a little more. The road signs are a little harder to read at night. Or your eyes just feel tired and dry by the end of the day. I want you to stop for a second and really listen to what I'm about to share with you. Because what most eye doctors will never tell you is this: the hours you spend sleeping are actually the most powerful window your body has to repair your eyes. While you're resting, your retinal cells regenerate, your optic nerve flushes out toxic waste, and your macula, the tiny central part of your eye responsible for sharp, detailed vision, goes into active repair mode. And tonight, I'm going to tell you exactly what to eat before bed. 3 specific foods that give your eyes everything they need to repair, regenerate, and restore while you sleep. These aren't exotic or expensive. You can find all 3 at any grocery store. But the science behind how they work is genuinely remarkable. For the last several years, I've been focused almost entirely on one question. Why do some people maintain sharp, healthy vision well into their 80s and 90s, while others start losing it in their 60s? The answer I found had almost nothing to do with glasses prescriptions or surgery. It had everything to do with what those people were putting on their plates, and more specifically, what they were eating in the hours before sleep. Before we dive in, I want to ask you a quick favor. If you find this information helpful, please check whether you've subscribed to this channel. Now let's talk about what's actually happening to your eyes as you age and why nighttime is the key. Why sleep is your eye's secret repair window. Most people think of sleep as just rest. Your body shuts down, your brain goes quiet, and you wake up refreshed. But that's not what's actually happening. Sleep is one of the most biologically active periods of your entire day, especially for your eyes. Here's something most people have never heard of. Your eyes have their own lymphatic-like drainage system called the glymphatic system. During deep sleep, this system activates and flushes out a toxic protein called beta amyloid from your retinal cells. Beta amyloid buildup in the retina has been directly linked to macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss in seniors. At the same time, your body ramps up production of a hormone called melatonin, which doesn't just help you sleep. Melatonin is also one of the most powerful antioxidants your eyes produce naturally. It protects your photoreceptors, the rods and cones that allow you to see color, detail, and light, from oxidative damage. Your retinal pigment epithelium, the thin layer of cells behind your retina, does the bulk of its cell repair and renewal during the night hours. These cells support your photoreceptors and help recycle visual pigments. When they work well, your vision stays crisp. When they're depleted or damaged, which happens more with age, your vision deteriorates. Here's the critical part. All of this nighttime repair work depends entirely on the nutrients circulating in your bloodstream while you sleep. If those nutrients aren't there, the repair doesn't happen. Night after night of nutritional deficiency in those key hours compounds into significant vision loss over months and years. So what do you need to eat and when to make sure those nutrients are available during your eye's most important repair window? That's exactly what I'm going to walk you through now. Food number 1, egg yolks. I know what you're thinking. Eggs? Really? But stay with me, because the specific nutrients inside an egg yolk are so perfectly matched to what your eyes need overnight that researchers who study macular degeneration have called it one of the most complete eye repair foods on the planet. Here's why. Inside an egg yolk, you'll find 2 compounds called lutein and zeaxanthin. These are carotenoids, natural pigments, and they concentrate specifically in one place in your body more than anywhere else, your macula. That's the central portion of your retina, responsible for the sharp, detailed vision you use for reading, recognizing faces, and driving. Lutein and zeaxanthin act like internal sunscreen for your eyes. They absorb harmful blue light and neutralize the free radicals that damage your photoreceptor cells. As you age, your natural supply of these compounds depletes. And when macular lutein and zeaxanthin levels drop below a critical threshold, the risk of developing age-related macular degeneration, AMD, increases dramatically. A landmark study published in the journal Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science found that people with the highest blood levels of lutein and zeaxanthin had a 57% lower risk of advanced macular degeneration compared to those with the lowest levels. That is not a small number. That is more than cutting your risk in half. Now, you might be thinking, can't I just take a supplement? And the answer is yes, you can. But here's what the research consistently shows. The lutein and zeaxanthin from whole egg yolks is absorbed by your body far more efficiently than the same nutrients from supplements or most plant sources. This is because egg yolks contain fat, and these carotenoids are fat-soluble. They need fat to be absorbed. When you eat a whole egg yolk, the fat is already there. Everything is packaged together perfectly. Egg yolks also deliver another critical nutrient for nighttime vision repair: zinc. Your retina contains the highest concentration of zinc of any tissue in your body. Zinc is essential for the enzyme activity that converts vitamin A into the visual pigment your photoreceptors use to function. Without adequate zinc, even if you're getting plenty of vitamin A, your retina can't use it properly. Studies published in the Archives of Ophthalmology found that supplementing with zinc significantly slowed the progression of age-related macular degeneration in people who already had early to intermediate AMD. And once again, the zinc from egg yolks is in a highly bioavailable form that your body absorbs much better than zinc from plant sources. How to eat them: 2 to 3 soft-boiled or lightly scrambled egg yolks about 1 to 2 hours before bed. Avoid hard boiling if you can, because excessive heat oxidizes some of the delicate fats in the yolk. Soft-boiled or gently scrambled in a small amount of butter or olive oil is ideal. You don't need the egg whites for this specific purpose. The yolk is where all the eye-repairing compounds live. One important note: if you've been told to limit eggs because of cholesterol, please speak with your doctor before making changes. For most healthy seniors, current evidence strongly supports eggs as part of a balanced diet, but your individual situation matters. Food number 2, wild blueberries. Not just any blueberries, wild blueberries. The small, dark ones you can typically find in the frozen section of most grocery stores have something their larger, cultivated cousins don't: a dramatically higher concentration of anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the deep blue-purple pigments that give wild blueberries their intense color. And inside your eyes, they do something that almost sounds too good to be true, but the research is remarkably consistent. Your eyes, specifically your photoreceptor cells, operate using a compound called rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is your visual pigment. It's what allows your rods, the cells responsible for low light and nighttime vision, to detect light and send signals to your brain. Every time you see something, rhodopsin gets broken down and needs to be regenerated. This regeneration process happens continuously, but it accelerates during sleep. Anthocyanins from wild blueberries have been shown in multiple studies to accelerate the regeneration of rhodopsin. A study published in Antioxidants found that bilberry anthocyanins, closely related to those in wild blueberries, significantly improved rhodopsin regeneration speed after exposure to bright light. This translates directly to better night vision, faster adaptation when moving from bright to dark environments, and reduced eye fatigue. But that's not all anthocyanins do. They are extraordinarily powerful anti-inflammatory agents. Chronic low-grade inflammation in the tiny blood vessels of the eye is one of the primary drivers of diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma progression, and macular degeneration. Anthocyanins reduce this inflammation by blocking specific inflammatory signaling pathways in retinal tissue. A study in the Journal of Nutritional Science followed older adults who consumed concentrated anthocyanins daily for 12 weeks. The result? Significant improvements in visual acuity, contrast sensitivity, and reduced eye strain, all measured objectively by optometric testing. Wild blueberries also contain resveratrol and pterostilbene, two polyphenols that protect the tiny capillaries, the microscopic blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to your retinal cells. When those capillaries are damaged or leaky, vision deteriorates rapidly. These compounds help keep them strong and functional. Here's why eating them before bed specifically matters. Anthocyanins are water-soluble and absorbed relatively quickly. When you consume them in the evening, they reach peak concentration in your bloodstream right around the time your eyes enter their deepest repair cycle during early, deep sleep. This timing is not accidental, it's strategic. How to eat them. Half a cup to 1 cup of frozen wild blueberries daily, ideally eaten as a small bedtime snack. You don't need to defrost them completely. Many people enjoy them partially frozen, mixed with a small amount of plain Greek yogurt, which adds a probiotic benefit and a bit of protein that helps the anthocyanins absorb even more effectively because of the fat content in the yogurt. If you have access to fresh wild blueberries, those are excellent too. The key word is wild. Regular, large cultivated blueberries have roughly 1/3 the anthocyanin concentration of their wild counterparts, so the serving size and benefit won't be the same. Food number 3, a small handful of walnuts. Walnuts are one of the most underrated foods for senior eye health, and they happen to be perfect as a pre-bed snack because of how their specific nutrients interact with your body's overnight processes. Here's what makes walnuts so uniquely powerful for your eyes. First, they are one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a type of omega-3 fatty acid. Your body converts ALA into DHA, and DHA is the predominant structural fat in your retina. We're not talking about a small amount. DHA makes up nearly 50% of the total fatty acids in your photoreceptor membranes. Without adequate DHA, those membranes become rigid and less responsive. Light signals don't transmit as efficiently. Your vision becomes less sharp, less clear, and your eyes become more vulnerable to age-related damage. A study published in JAMA Ophthalmology analyzed dietary data from over 100,000 participants and found that people with the highest omega-3 intake had a significantly reduced risk of developing neovascular AMD, the most severe and vision-threatening form of macular degeneration. The risk reduction was 30% for regular omega-3 consumers. Second, walnuts are exceptionally high in vitamin E. A single ounce of walnuts delivers around 2 milligrams of vitamin E, and vitamin E is one of your retina's primary antioxidant defenses. It specifically protects the polyunsaturated fatty acids in your photoreceptor membranes from oxidation. Oxidized retinal fats are a hallmark of multiple eye diseases, and vitamin E essentially acts as a shield. The Age-Related Eye Disease Study, one of the most comprehensive nutritional studies in ophthalmology history, found that a combination of antioxidants, including vitamin E, significantly reduced the risk of advanced AMD progression by 25% in people at high risk. Third, and this is the part most people don't know about, walnuts are uniquely rich in melatonin. Not many whole foods contain meaningful amounts of melatonin, but walnuts do. And as we discussed earlier, melatonin is one of the most important antioxidants your retina produces naturally. It declines significantly with age, which is one reason senior eyes become more vulnerable to oxidative stress. Eating walnuts before bed gives your eyes an external supply of melatonin right when the body's need for it is highest. A study published in Nutrition found that after participants consumed walnuts, their blood melatonin levels measurably increased, and their antioxidant capacity increased along with it. Your eyes benefit directly from this elevation during the overnight hours. Fourth, walnuts contain a significant amount of magnesium. Magnesium plays a critical role in regulating the intraocular pressure that affects glaucoma risk. It also supports the healthy function of the optic nerve. As we age, magnesium levels tend to decline, and deficiency has been associated with increased glaucoma risk and optic nerve vulnerability. A small handful of walnuts before bed delivers a meaningful portion of your daily magnesium needs in a form that's easily absorbed. How to eat them? One small handful, roughly 1 ounce or about 14 walnut halves, eaten 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. You can eat them plain or mix them into your wild blueberry and yogurt combination for a genuinely powerful pre-bed eye repair snack. Avoid salted or roasted walnuts when possible. Raw or lightly toasted are best, as excessive heat can degrade some of the delicate omega-3 fatty acids. Putting it all together, your pre-bed eye repair routine. Here's how to combine all 3 foods into a practical, simple routine that takes about 5 minutes and costs almost nothing. About 1 to 2 hours before bed, prepare a small bowl. Half a cup of frozen wild blueberries, 2 to 3 lightly scrambled or soft-boiled egg yolks, and a small handful of raw walnuts on the side. If you prefer something simpler, you can do the blueberries mixed with Greek yogurt and the walnuts alongside, and have your egg yolks earlier in the evening with dinner. The specific timing matters. You want these nutrients in your bloodstream before you enter deep sleep, typically 1 to 2 hours after falling asleep. Eating them 60 to 90 minutes before you go to bed hits that window almost perfectly. Consistency is the mechanism. One night of this routine won't reverse years of oxidative damage to your retinal cells. But 4 to 8 weeks of consistent pre-bed nutrition gives your eyes the raw materials they need to do meaningful repair work, night after night. Several studies on lutein and zeaxanthin show measurable improvements in macular pigment optical density, a direct measure of retinal protection, within 6 to 12 weeks of consistent intake. The critical mistakes that undermine all of this. Mistake 1. Eating these foods at the wrong time. If you eat your blueberries at 7 a.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m., much of the anthocyanin benefit is gone by the time your eyes need it. Timing is everything. Eat these specifically in the evening hours. Mistake 2. Cooking your egg yolks at high heat. Hard-boiled eggs, scrambled over very high heat, or fried eggs cooked until the yolk is solid. These methods oxidize the delicate fats in the yolk and reduce the bioavailability of lutein and zeaxanthin. Low and slow is the rule. A soft poach, a gentle scramble at low heat, or a soft boil for 6 minutes. Mistake 3. Skipping the fat. If you're eating your blueberries alone with no fat source, you're absorbing far less of the fat-soluble compounds. The yogurt, the walnut fats, or even a small drizzle of olive oil all help dramatically increase absorption. Mistake 4. Replacing whole foods with supplements. Lutein supplements, bilberry extract capsules, fish oil pills. All of these have some value, but the research consistently shows that whole food sources deliver these nutrients in forms that work synergistically together. You don't get the full package from a pill. The fiber matrix, the cofactors, the enzymes, the companion nutrients. They all work together in ways that isolated supplements simply can't replicate. Mistake 5. Expecting overnight results and giving up. I understand the frustration. You've been told your vision loss is simply a normal part of aging, and there's nothing to be done about it. Starting a new routine and not feeling an immediate difference can feel discouraging. But retinal repair is measured in weeks and months, not days. Give this protocol a genuine 8-week trial before you judge the results. Measure your improvement by how your eyes feel. Less fatigue, less dryness, better contrast in low light. Not just by the letters you can read on the eye chart. What the research tells us. Overall, I want to be clear with you about something important. I'm not telling you that eating blueberries, egg yolks, and walnuts before bed will cure macular degeneration, reverse glaucoma, or restore eyesight that has already been significantly lost. That would not be honest, and you deserve honesty. What the research does tell us, consistently, across multiple well-designed studies, is this. The nutrients in these 3 foods are directly involved in the biological processes that protect and maintain retinal health. Deficiencies in lutein, zeaxanthin, omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, anthocyanins, and vitamin E are all associated with accelerated vision loss and higher rates of age-related eye disease. And correcting those deficiencies through food rather than supplements produces measurable improvements in the biological markers of eye health. The Age-Related Eye Disease Study, funded by the National Eye Institute, is perhaps the most rigorous piece of evidence we have. It demonstrated that targeted nutritional intervention in people with age-related macular degeneration significantly slowed disease progression and reduced the risk of vision loss. Nutrition is not a side story in eye health. It is central to it. What you eat before bed, every single night, is either giving your eyes the tools they need to repair themselves, or it isn't. That choice belongs entirely to you. If this information was useful to you, I'd ask you to do 2 things. First, share this with someone you care about who's been worrying about their eyesight. A parent, a spouse, a friend. Most seniors have never heard any of this, and they deserve to know it. Second, subscribe and hit the like button so this channel can keep getting science-backed information to the people who need it most. If you want to go deeper, check out my other videos on nutrients that protect against dry eye syndrome and the 1 food that most damages night vision after 60. Both links are right here on screen.